to another episode of the Friday Podcast with Chris Chaos. Ain't you heard the one that make your girlfriend stutter over every word? Turn fresh than the hoe. I'll let you know. Then the motherfucker, ain't you heard the one that make your girlfriend stutter over every word? Turn. Brazilian, millions, still win. It's the B, A to me, A to G, play with me, lick up on the lolly, lick the party, because I like her body, poppy. Ain't you heard? Over every word. What's up, Erico? Just like last time, if you're listening or watching, or you know him, throw his link down below. Ain't getting up from it. 20. What's up, motherfucker? Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you had a blessed Thanksgiving. Welcome to Friday. Hopefully this episode comes out in time this week. It's been a real chill week. Luckily I had a week off. Super chill. Working on some clips. Spending time with friends. Working on the podcast. Spending time with my son. Sleeping. Definitely sleeping. And I just got these in, and I just realized that I ordered one that I had already read. So that sucks. So really I only have 3 new ones instead of 4. But I started reading this one, Armageddon Game number 2. And then after that one, I'm gonna read this one, but I'm not gonna, it'll probably be next episode I go over it. And then this one. So, what else? Not much else. Everything's pretty good. I had to get a new quart lighter because the other one I had shocked me. Because the top broke. It was cheap. Alright, anyway. Question 376 of the 3,000 question book. What relationship or friendship do you regret ending? Any friendships that ended on my part, I regret. But they didn't really end, they just changed. But I had a best friend in high school, in middle school, And once we got into high school, because I got him into trouble, he kind of stopped being friends. And no blame to him, but I regret that. There's this white kid named Holden that we stopped being friends, and I kind of regret that, I guess. But we just changed the type of people we hung around. In middle school is different than high school. In high school, you just kind of like separate from those people. If they're not, you kind of get in where you fit in. High school is very segregated with like athletes and, you know, all that shit. Have you ever bought someone jewelry? Dang, I feel like I have, but I don't recall any particular piece of jewelry. Or if it was real. What was the worst hairstyle you've ever had? I used to shave my head, but it wasn't too bad. My least favorite was one time when a neighbor cut it for me. And it was right before pictures, and she just did like a one all the way around. It was weird. I didn't like it. If I can find a picture, I'll try to put a picture up. Who knows you better than anyone else? The Lord. My sister probably. Have you ever licked a battery? Yeah, D battery. To see it, because they always say if you put your tongue on it and it tingles, it still works. I did that shit. And it still works. What black and white movie is your favorite? Yo, I couldn't think of one when I was looking over these questions, but favorite black and white TV show, I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy was the shoot. Do you play any games on your smartphone? If so, what's your favorite? I just started playing Pokemon Go again. Add my fucking gamer tags. I got gifts galore. And everybody I used to play with on there doesn't play anymore. That's pretty much it. Chess.com. Do you have any family heirlooms? No. Maybe I'll be the first to relieve some. If you had to lose one of your 5 senses, which one would you give up? Damn, there's taste, there's smell, hearing, seeing, feeling. Ooh. Feeling. Nah, feeling feels too good. Smelling smells too good. Hearing hears it. Taste. Sight. I wouldn't want to lose any fucking sense. But if you had to lose one of your 5 senses, feeling. Is feeling one of them? I think it is. Have you ever gone through a transformation? If so, what did it involve? Yeah, I let my hair grow. That was one transformation. Learning not to be a simp, because women don't like that. I had to relearn shit about dating and shit. Everything changed. Well, I changed, and I didn't change with times. The times changed. And I was stuck in a certain mentality, mindset. Are you a role model for anyone in your life? I believe that I am. I believe that I'm a role model for my son, and also possibly, probably students that at my job. What book have you read multiple times? The Ninja Turtle books, like the first few issues. I read them several times. Is there ever a good time for to be confrontational when you're calm? Calm, cool, and collected. In a typical week, how much time do you spend on the internet? Way too much motherfucking time. It's like, I average like 7 a day at least hours on my phone. Most of that's on the internet. But that could just mean playing music in the background. So does that count? Probably. Let's say no. So not as much time as one would think, but decent amount of time. Still too much. Are you happy with your life at this moment? I am. I am blessed. I'm going to check the audio on this, and then we're going to come back and we'll do the spirit animal of the week. Yeah. Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, since I've been on vacation, I've been getting a lot of REM sleep. Since I've been getting a lot of REM sleep, R-E-M, I've been dreaming. In one of the dreams that I had, randomly, I saw a pig, like a piglet. And I was like, yo, I could do that as a spirit animal. So, I don't normally see pigs, but I saw it in a dream, so I decided to do pig in a dream. So, if you see a pig in a dream, it could mean, according to thepleasantdream.com, the dream of a pig is an indication of success, newness, change, sexual desires, and change in your habits. If you dream of pigs, it may be due to a variety of factors, such as who you are hanging out with or what kind of things you do. You can tell a lot about your personality from how you respond to a problem. PsychicBlaze.com says, pigs in dreams signify wealth, hard work, patience, and honesty. The presence of domestic pigs in your dreams could mean prosperity, good luck, and fertility. On the other hand, dreaming about wild pigs is linked to lust, greed, selfishness, as well as a lack of balance in your life. Luckily, the pig I saw was like a cool little chill pig, like a pink with spots, so it was domesticated. DreamDictionary.org says a pig in your dreams can emerge for many different reasons. It contains a both negative and positive symbol that can switch depending on your interaction with the pig. A metaphoric symbol reflecting unconscious behaviors and patterns, luck, sexuality, wealth, or something forbidden in your life. Pigs can be both friendly or aggressive in your dreams. ALOdreams.com says having dreams about pigs can indicate one's personality, and this could portray stubbornness, filthiness, gluttony, overindulgence, selfishness, and lots more. When a pig is present in your dream, this could be a sign that someone in surrounding possesses these type of traits, and you need to take these things lightly when dealing with such people. Interesting. I mean, I did kind of like delete some apps from my phone, so maybe that's linked to that. Dreamingandsleeping.com says, dream about a pig standing far away if you had a dream about a pig standing far away from you. Oh, sorry, then this means you're going to experience something extremely pleasant. It was pretty close, but you will perhaps meet someone new or do something you have never done before. This experience will make your life richer, and you will definitely feel like a new person after it. Interesting. All right, angel number of the week. 858. Angelnumber.org says, the angel number 858 symbolizes major changes in your romantic relationships. That can sometimes mean the end of a current relationship, but more often it indicates changes in the relations with your partner. These changes will usually have positive effects on your love life. Sunscience.org says 858 symbolism can mean a lot of things. Number 8 is a number of egos. It talks of self-esteem and personal pride. It is mentioned twice in this numerology reading. Number 88 is a symbol of personal authority. This means personal freedom to make decisions. 5 is a number of magnetism. TheSecretOfTheTarot.com says that 858 is the herald of prosperity and a reminder to keep yourself in good health as you enjoy your abundance. Angel number 88 is an angel number that is most often associated with abundance and prosperity. It is a reminder from your angels that you have the ability to create whatever you desire. 8 is also a number of karma. SubconsciousServant.com says 858 is often a sign that you need to work on your relationship building skills. It is important to take time to connect with others and establish/nurture relationships. You're a strong person, but being strong isn't always all it's cracked up to be. Sometimes we all need someone to lean on. AngelManifest.com says that 858 is a message that angels support you to develop your unique strengths, talents, and abilities. Focus on what you want to do to achieve more and move on to a new stage. The universe is generous to you and will surely send you blessings. A good change is coming to you. May this message be of some use to you. SpiritualMantra.org says that 858 is a symbol of growth and abundance. This number indicates that your dreams are about to become a reality. Thank your guardian angels for their work behind the scenes to secure your success the next time you encounter this number. Additionally, make an attempt to reach out to the individuals in your life and make amends. We gotta take a break so I can move the camera around to do anxiety news and to do movie review and to do fat ass women of history. I could do bad ass women in history right now, and then we'll do the other ones. So that's all we'll do. So quick break. Be right back. Anxiety news about anxiety with your host Chris Chaos. I decided to use the same background for sound purposes and for time purposes. Excuse me. So, damn, I didn't write down. It's from Psychology Today. I remember that. So let's see. Anxiety/depression meds may not work the way we thought. New research points to a different mechanism of action. This is posted November 21st, 2022. So key points. Until recently, prevailing wisdom held that antidepressants work by increasing synaptic serotonin in the brain's mood centers. New finding cast doubt on the role of serotonin, while at the same time implicating inflammation and triggering anxiety and depression. If, as new studies suggest, inflammation plays a pivotal role in mood disorders, the implications for new treatment options are profound. If you Google how do antidepressants work or why antidepressants treat anxiety, the search engine will take you to a plethora of sites. Some catering to average citizens seeking medical information, others to physicians and academics, but all giving answers something like this. Although we don't fully understand how this class of drug works, they likely affect mood by increasing the amount of the neurotransmitter serotonin in mood centers of the brain. As a brain scientist, I cringe when reading such explanations. Who was this written by before I start reading in his? Eric Hasseltine, PhD, neuroscientist. As a brain scientist, I cringe when reading such explanations, wishing they had stopped that we don't fully understand how this class of drug works. The brain, with its myriad nuclei, interconnected pathways, metabolic processes, immune responses, negative feedback, and feed-forward loops, neurogenesis processes, and neurotransmitters, not to mention psychotropic effects of gut bacteria, doesn't nearly divide itself into simple constructs such as mood centers and serotonin pathways. Now let's break down serotonin. These artificial constructs are simply ways to organize the brain so that we can begin to understand it. We are equally guilty of oversimplification when we label drugs like Prozac and Zoloft selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs. When such chemicals induce many other types of changes in the body that may be equally or more important to reducing symptoms. For example, although the major class of antidepressants, SSRIs, do slow down synaptic reuptake of serotonin, at least temporarily increasing serotonin levels, recent studies show there is very little correlation between brain serotonin levels and severity of depressive symptoms. And yet, there is abundant evidence that SSRIs do alleviate both depression and anxiety in some patients. So if serotonin isn't the whole answer, or even part of the answer, what is? And then there's the inflammation hypothesis. More than a decade ago, research unrelated to psychiatry started to suggest that depression had some relationship to inflammation in both the brain and the body. For example, clinical trials of a hepatitis C treatment that promoted pro-inflammatory cytokines appeared to bring on depression in a significant number of test subjects. Since those early studies, a flood of information has implicated inflammation as a contributing factor in both depression and anxiety, with researchers theorizing that chronic inflammation may be toxic to neurons that play a role in mood, disabling or even ultimately destroying these neurons. Whatever the mechanism of action, the research demonstrating a strong link between inflammation and both depression and anxiety is rapidly mounting. Anti-inflammatory drugs can help anxiety and depression. Medications such as aspirin and ibuprofen alleviate depression and anxiety in some patients. Activities that help reduce anxiety and depression, such as meditation and aerobic exercise, also reduce inflammation. Antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs have anti-inflammatory properties. Both SSRIs and anti-anxiety drugs such as benzodiazepines, ergo, Librium, Valium, and Ativan reduce inflammation. Even psychedelics such as ketamine and psilocybin, which have shown promising antidepressant and anti-anxiety properties, have anti-inflammatory features. Drugs that promote inflammation can worsen depression and anxiety. Immune therapies targeting viruses and cancer correlate with increased anxiety and depression in some patients. Inflammatory disorders correlate with depression and anxiety. Patients with autoimmune diseases such as allergies, asthma, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, and diabetes suffer greater than normal symptoms of anxiety and depression. These findings, and there's all these links to the sources. I'll show because it has all the links. These, not links, but it numbers it and it shows the sources at the bottom. These findings taken together are compelling, suggesting that agents and activities that cause inflammation increase risk of anxiety and depression, while conversely, agents and activities that reduce inflammation also can reduce anxiety and depression. The findings also raise intriguing questions. What role do infections play in triggering depression and anxiety, given that pathogens may be involved in triggering other brain disorders such as MS, schizophrenia, and obsessive-compulsive disorder? Can diet with inflammatory and anti-inflammatory foods influence mood disorder? Can common medications such as aspirin and ibuprofen be prescribed to treat mood disorders? Does the role of inflammation in mood disorders help explain why antidepressants don't help everyone? And can antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications be used to treat chronic inflammation? All these possibilities should be explored, he says. But just as the serotonin hypothesis itself replaced an early catecholamine, noradrenaline, adrenaline, dopamine hypothesis of mood disorders, the inflammation hypothesis, which is on the verge of replacing the serotonin hypothesis, will likely also be supplanted by later findings, as researchers discover that inflammation doesn't tell the whole story either. I suspect it will take a long time to get the whole story. Our brains are marvelous at doing many things, but figuring themselves out is not one of them. About the author, Eric Hasseltine, PhD, neuroscientist, and author of Long Fuse Big Bang. So that's pretty interesting. Everything that we've been told about anxiety and depression might just be disproved. It might be disproved really soon. Alright, so the series review. I watched the first 3 episodes recently with Vino from the Odd Squad. Shout out to Vino. And it's a throwback cartoon, Gargoyles. And I did a little research and I thought it was very interesting. So, Gargoyles, also known as Gargoyles, the Goliath Chronicles for Season 3, is an animated television series produced by Walt Disney Television Animation in collaboration with Jade Animation and Tama Productions for its first 2 seasons, and Nelvana for its final, and originally aired from October 24th, 94 to February 15th, 97. The series features a species of nocturnal creatures known as gargoyles that turn to stone during the day. After spending 1,000 years in an enchanted, petrified state, the gargoyles, who have been transported from medieval Scotland, are reawakened in modern-day New York City and take on roles as the city's secret nighttime protectors. Now, what got me into it was because I saw a clip on Instagram, a reel of the intro. And I showed it to a couple friends, and my homie was like, hey, we should watch it, and Vino. And so we started watching it. Gargoyles was noted for its relatively dark tone, because we used to watch it as kids. So that made us want to watch it again. Complex story arcs and melodrama. Character arcs were heavily employed throughout the series, as were Shakespearean themes. The series also received favorable comparisons to Cyber 6, Batman the Animated Series, and X-Men. A video game adaptation and a spin-off comic series were released in '95. The show's storyline continued from 06 to 09 in a comic book series of the same title, produced by Slave Labor Graphics, and was again revived by Dynamite Entertainment this year. 1,000 years ago, superstition... Oh, this is Goliath's opening narration. 1,000 years ago, superstition in the world sword ruled. It was a time of darkness. It was a world of fear. It was the age of gargoyles. Stoned by day, warriors by night. We were betrayed by the humans we had sworn to protect. Frozen in stone by a magic spell for 1,000 years. Now, here in Manhattan, that spell is broken, and we live again. We are defenders of the night. We are gargoyles. That's Goliath's opening narration. So the series features a species of nocturnal creatures known as gargoyles that turn to stone during the day, focusing on the clan led by Goliath. In 994, The clan lives in a castle in Scotland. Most are betrayed and killed by humans while petrified, and the remainder are magically cursed to sleep, i.e. be frozen in stone form until the castle rises above the clouds. 1,000 years later, in 1994, billionaire David Xanatos purchases the Gargoyles Castle and has it reconstructed atop his New York skyscraper, the Eerie Building, thus awakening Goliath and the remainder of his clan. While trying to adjust to their new world, they are aided by a sympathetic police officer named Eliza Massa and quickly come into conflict with the plotting Xanatos. In addition to dealing with the Gargoyles' attempts to adjust to modern New York, the series also incorporated various supernatural threats to their safety into the world at large. So this is interesting. The series bears no creator credit, though there were several people who are responsible for the show's format. Michael Reeves, who wrote the first 6 episodes and was the primary writer, story editor of the show's first 2 seasons, has described himself in respect to Gargoyles as in on the ground floor of creating something iconic. Greg Weisman also described himself as one of the creators of Gargoyles. The series' first season was almost entirely written by the husband and wife team of Michael Reeves and Bryn Chandler Reeves, who wrote 12 of the 13 episodes. The remaining episode was written by Steve Perry. Weisman officially joined the series as a co-producer with episode 6, though he also oversaw earlier episodes in his capacity as a Disney executive, and did not have any writing credits on the show until the 3rd season. So a little background. According to Weisman, the first season was developed on a sliding schedule. Each phase of developing the 13 episodes, such as writing, storyboarding, and animating, was given a 10-month period with significant overlap. After they had developed the first 13 episodes, they asked Buena Vista Television to pick up a second season with another 13. The show had not yet aired, but Buena Vista agreed for them to start to work on 6 more episodes. Once the show had started its weekly syndication run in '94, it was quickly seen as successful both as a television program and for promoting toy sales, which is very important. And Buena Vista pushed on the show's team to make the second season 52 episodes so that they could run it daily starting in the 1995 television season. Weisman stated they were not prepared for this given their production methods and the lack of timing to get these episodes ready for a fall '95 premiere. Despite telling Buena Vista this several times, when Disney refused to back down from the 52 episode order, the team decided to expand fourfold to handle the additional episodes. Pressure. The writing staff grew to include Reeves, Chandler Reeves, and Perry, as well as newcomers Lydia Morano, Carrie Bates, Gary Sperling, Adam Gilad, Diane Duane, and Peter Morwood, amongst others. For this reason, story editing duties were handled on a rotating basis by Reeves, Chandler Reeves, Bates, and Sperling. Storylines expanded beyond the Manhattan setting, and more characters were added to help create the stories to fill the episode count. Weisman said that he had discussions with Michael Eisner of using Gargoyles as a starting point for an action-oriented universe within Disney, comparing this to how Warner Brothers owned DC Comics, and some second season episodes were used to set up potential hooks for these. The 3rd season was reduced to 13 episodes. That's crazy. They went from 52 episode season to 13 episodes. And it was moved to a Saturday morning slot. This was a result of 2 factors according to Weisman. The first was changes within Disney itself. Fallout from the death of Disney president Frank Wells led to the divide between Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg, and Katzenberg left to form DreamWorks. They made Shrek. Weisman's bosses, Gary Crystal and Bruce Cranston, that had been supportive of Gargoyles, also left with Katzenberg for DreamWorks. Further, internal pressure on Eisner from Roy E. Disney forced him to treat Gargoyles as part of the studio's older works, thus dropping the larger action universe plans, leaving the show without any support. Secondly, as the season aired, the highly publicized trial of O.J. Simpson drew audiences away from gargoyles, often due to preemption from the trial's coverage. By the time the trial was over, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had become more powerful as a brand. At this point, the show staff did not think they were likely to get a third season, but as Disney had just bought Capital Cities, the owners of the American Broadcasting Company, they needed programming for its Saturday morning block, and had the Gargoyles team develop 13 more episodes for it, now calling the series the Goliath Chronicles. Because this was on broadcast stations rather than syndication, the show had to meet different broadcast standards and practices, which Wiseman stated drastically limited his creativity. While he wrote the first episode and spoke of his concerns to Disney, they had removed him from the team and assigned the show's run to Nelvana. Many Shakespearean characters and stories found their ways into the show's storylines, particularly those from Macbeth and Midsummer Night's Dream. The series was also influenced by medieval Scottish history, as well as television shows ranging from Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears to Hill Street Blues. The latter, in particular, inspired the ensemble format of the series and the 30-second, previously on Gargoyles, recap found at the beginning of the later episodes. The former was an influence on the original comedy development of the show, which was subsequently made darker and more serious by first-season writers Chandler Reeves, and Perry. New York artist Joe Tomasini brought a suit against Disney, claiming that his copyrighted screenplay and character designs had been copied during the development and production of Gargoyles. The case was ultimately thrown out after it was proven that Disney did not have access to Tomasini's creations. In May of 2020, a couple years ago, Wiseman said in an interview, "Gargoyles is still my baby. I don't own it. I don't get a dime off it being on Disney Plus, and yet I'm so thrilled that it is. I'm thrilled that it represents a chance, even if it's a slim chance, to bring it back. I've always wanted to do more. I've got a timeline for the show that's 315 pages long. I've got notebooks and comp books full of ideas for it, spin-off notions and all sorts of things. Literally nothing would make me happier than to go back and do more Gargoyles." That's fucking tight. He's ready, man. The story's there. IGN ranked Gargoyles 45th place on a 2009 list of top 100 animated series, stating a decent success at the time. Gargoyles has maintained a strong cult following since it ended more than a decade ago. Hollywood.com featured on their 2010 list of 6 cartoons that should be movies. Uggo.com included on their 2011 list of legendary medieval and fantasy shows. The first 2 episodes that I watched were like Vikings and Scottish. It was pretty tight. But in secret, I'll be watching every one of them because it was just that good. Oh, that's what somebody said. Doug Walker, also known as the Nostalgia Critic. I don't know if it really changed anything in terms of kid shows like Batman or Animaniacs, but it was certainly a welcome detour from what Disney usually did. It really stood on its own, created some wonderful and really unique stories. Gargoyles is a blast. It really stood on its own from the past and sure to live on in the future. Craig Tomashoff of People magazine said all the traditional wholesome Disney elements are in place, from a Beauty and the Beast-like plotline to the Gargoyles' old-fashioned sense of nobility and morality. The result is a show that isn't bad with impressive animation. Yeah, because everything you can tell is like drawn and shit. Elizabeth Rain of Sci-Fi praises theory, stating Gargoyles isn't just a gothic fairy tale. There's hidden magic where you least expect it to lurk, in that crumbling castle and later the clock tower that stand sentinel at night after night, watching over the city that never sleeps. The series holds a rare 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. On the film critic site. Rotten Tomatoes. Less favorable assessments of the series came from animation producer Bruce Timm, who dismissed Gargoyles as a kind of namby-pamby with all that Celtic fantasy crap in the '99 interview. And the animation blog Cartoon Brew, which cited the series as an example of the sort of juvenile mediocrities that are beloved by the nerd community. Haters. A live-action film adaptation had been discussed by Disney since the beginning of the show's run. Todd Garner was the executive producer on a proposed project. Having admired the series, Rick Baker was hired to create concept art for the characters and even made a maquette. Greg Weisman and Michael Reeves wrote a draft that adapted the 5-part Awakening pilot, but it was rejected. Disney regular Jim Coof was hired to pen a new draft that established Goliath as a Gaelic warrior named Goliath McGrath, who makes a deal with a good sorcerer to battle an evil one named Morgan. However, he and his men are cursed to give up their flesh and blood, and their heart will be turned to stone. They are promptly turned to gargoyles and turned to stone upon defeating Morgan. In modern day, the focus shifts to Alex Anderson, described as Goliath's long relative who returns to New York following the death of his father. He teams up with Detective Brianna, who is a stand-in for Liza Massa, and meets the gargoyles who must battle or revive Morgan. While Disney favored the script, the project was abandoned as it could have been expensive to produce and because the series had ended its run. In July of 2011, David Elliott and Paul Lovett of G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra were hired to pen a film adaptation of Gargoyles. In June 2018, very recently, Jordan Peele pitched his own film version to Disney, but it was supposedly not picked up. The series finale of the 2017 animated DuckTales animated series, The Last Adventure, features an extended Gargoyles homage. During a battle, the character Manny the Headless Man-Horse is briefly turned to stone before transforming into his true form, which heavily resembles a gargoyle. The sequence is accompanied by an excerpt from the Gargoyles theme tune, and Manny quotes Goliath's "I live again" during his transformation, with Keith David providing his voice. Yo, I'm excited to keep watching it. The show's fucking amazing. First 3 episodes, 4.5 stars. Alright. One more break and then we're going to do the Badass Women of History. Yes, sir. Badass Women of History. We got another Wild West baddie coming at you. Carlotta J. Tompkins, also known as Lottie Deno. Born April 21st, 1844. Passed on my birthday, February 9th, 1934. Excuse me. Was a famous gambler in the U.S. state of Texas and New Mexico during the 19th century, known for her poker skills as well as her courage. She was born in Kentucky and traveled a great deal in her early adulthood before coming to Texas. Much of her earlier life and even her real name at birth are a matter of debate among historians. But her fame as a poker player in the Southwest is not. According to author Johnny Hughes, in the late 1800s, Texas's most famous poker player was Lottie Deno, a shortened form of dinero, Spanish for money. Early life. Carlotta J. Tompkins, her presumed real name, was born on April 21st, 1844 in Warsaw, Kentucky. Her family was reportedly quite wealthy, and her father, a racehorse breeder and prominent gambler, is said to have traveled extensively with Lottie, teaching her the secrets of winning at cards at some of the finest casinos. After her father's death in the Civil War, Lottie's mother sent her to Detroit to find a husband. She was accompanied by Mary Poindexter, her loyal slave and nanny. After running out of money, I don't know why I read it like that. After running out of money in Detroit, Tompkins fell into a life of gambling. Whoa, traveling the Mississippi River. She's from that M. Ah, crooked letter, ah, crooked letter, ah, humpback, ah. Poindexter, reportedly 7 feet tall and formidable, acted as Tompkins' protector during their travels. She probably wasn't 7 foot tall, but gambling days in Texas. Lottie arrived in San Antonio in 1865. She became a house gambler at the University Club, working for the Thurman family from Georgia. It was during this time that she met and fell in love with Frank Thurman, a fellow gambler. After being accused of murder, Frank fled and San Antonio and Lottie followed. The pair traveled for many years throughout the frontier areas of Texas, including Fort Concho, Jacksboro, San Angelo, Denison, Fort Worth, and Fort Griffin. Their travels occurred during a local economic boom on the Texas frontier as demand for bison hides spiked in the mid and late 1870s. Cowboys and traders flush with cash during the period became targets for gamblers in frontier communities. It was at Fort Griffin, where Lottie lingered for some time, that her notoriety and legend became most established. Fort Griffin, which was a frontier outpost west of Fort Worth near the Texas Panhandle, was known for its saloons and the rough element it attracted. Gaining fame as it's like Tatooine. Gaining fame as a gambler, Lottie became associated with various Old West personalities, including Doc Holliday. During her travels, she gained numerous nicknames. In San Antonio, she was known as the Angel of San Antonio. At Fort Concho, she became known as Mystic Maud. At Fort Griffin, she was called Queen of the Pasteboards and Lottie Deno. It was this last moniker by which she became best known. Her escapades during this period became part of the folklore of the American Wild West. Wild, Wild West. Later life, Lottie and Frank moved to Kingston, New Mexico in 1877, where they ran a gambling room in the Victoria Hotel. Lottie later became the owner of the Broadway restaurant in Silver City. In 1880, Lottie and Frank were married in Silver City. In 1882, they moved to Deming, New Mexico, where they settled permanently and gave up their gambling life. They became upstanding citizens in their community, with Frank eventually becoming vice president of Deming National Bank and Lottie helping to found St. Luke's Episcopal Church. Lottie died on February 9th, 1934, and was buried in Deming as Charlotte Thurman. Her legacy. Miss Kitty Russell, a character from the long-running American radio and television show Gunsmoke, starring James Arness, is based on Lottie Deno. Lisa Gay played Deno in the episode Lottie's Legacy of the syndicated anthology series Death Valley Daze, hosted by Robert Taylor. In the dramatization, Lottie falls in love with the Reverend Peter Green, who does not know the details of her past. Lottie sounds pretty tight. Hey, shout out to San Antonio. Yo, I love y'all, everybody. I'm thankful for the followers, the subscribers, the likers, the sharers, the watchers, the commenters, for the universe, for my blessings, for God, for the riches that we have, even though it's crazy how we get phones and shit. Thankful for everybody and everything in my life. I wonder if I got a flow with it. Let me check. Today's Thanksgiving, so I can freestyle, but let's see. No, I think I spit that one already. Let's see. Staring at the smoke coming from the incense. Why would they flow? They don't even make no sense. Consider this a taste test. I don't like to make mess. Cleansiness is godliness. And I feel like a god, yes. Lowercase g in the image of the capital. If it ain't deep, then it really ain't valuable. Enticing a bull will leave you red like a matador. I love all the signs. Aquarius to Capricorn. Be careful when you ask for one. And whenever you rest, always face the fucking door. Never face your back to it. You never know, man. It might not be your delivery with rice lo mein. Put yourself at ease so you can sense their uneasement. Shawty's on her knees, please don't be teasing. No, I ain't a heathen, but I got some tendencies. Ever since I started breathing, they've been trying to tempt a G. Yeah. Here's another one real quick. Now that the beat's on. My mind is complex, but it's simple, so God bless. My soul's complicated, my spirit, it feels stressed. My body, it feels weak. My legs, they feel shaky. My energy is drained. In fact, it's been taken. So let me pray, meditate, and smoke kush. Sit outside in nature, drink water, and push negative thoughts out, leaving only the good. I appreciate my health and even my hood. My son, my mom, my dad, and my sister. Grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles that miss you. Friends, co-workers, professors, and teachers. The Bible, God, the churches and preachers. The trees, the breeze, the water and seeds. This grub, this dove, this music that breathes. This podcast. See y'all next week. Love.